From Connecticut's newsroom, now Fox Connecticut Morning News.
We continue now with breaking news in the death of the Watertown soldier killed in Iraq. Some new developments now in that case.
Let's go to Fox Connecticut's Anthony DiLorenzo live in Watertown. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, guys. We're just getting this information from the United States Army. A spokesperson says Thursday night, or sometime Thursday, in Fallujah, Iraq, 4 soldiers got into some sort of verbal fight when one soldier pulled out his gun and started firing upon 3 others. When the dust settled, 2 had been killed, a 3rd was wounded, including a soldier from right here in Watertown. Certainly a shocking development in this case where a soldier goes off to war and doesn't come home. 26-year-old private first class Gebrah Noonan, who was a graduate of Watertown High School, was shot to death along with fellow soldier specialist John Carrillo of Stockton, California. A 3rd soldier was wounded by gunfire. In custody in connection to the shootings, Army specialist Neftaly Platero. The shootings happened last Thursday in Fallujah, Iraq, and what the Department of Defense classified as a non-combat related casualty. Each soldier died a day later. Noonan's death sent shockwaves through this Litchfield County community. He's described as being the life of the party and very well liked. The shock of it all turned into a harsh reality when his body was returned home this weekend. And it is worth noting the Facebook page of Gebrah Noonan also lists Neftaly Platero, the same name as the suspect, as a friend. A statement from Brigadier General Jeffrey Buchanan reads, quote, "Our condolences go out to the families of those service members whose lives were lost. We are saddened by this tragic incident." And Specialist Platero, who is from the Houston, Texas area, is being detained. We're told this morning at this point no charges have been filed as far as we know. He is still in a Baghdad jail. And at this point, no funeral arrangements have been made for Private First Class Gebrah Noonan. That is the latest live in Watertown this morning. I'm Anthony DiLorenzo, Fox Connecticut.
Thanks, Anthony. As a heartbreaking details surface about the death of Noonan, family and friends mourn the loss of a serviceman who loved life. One of his friends, Patrick Jacques, joins us now to talk about fallen soldier Gebrah Noonan. Good morning, Patrick.
Hi,
thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
First, I just want to say I'm so sorry for your loss, but let's remember the good things about Gebrah. Tell us about him for people who didn't know him.
Oh, man, if you got to meet him, you know him instantly. He was that kind of person. I mean, I recently moved in with some friends, and they only met him a handful of times, and
right.
When they heard the news, they just were like, they all had their instant Gebrah story. I mean, he was larger than life. He was just that kind of person that, like, you know, you walked in, you knew him, he was instantly comfortable. I mean, knowing Gebrah, he was never embarrassed.
Right.
He never was like, ooh, I don't want that to happen. He had, you know, he was himself, he was confident, but never arrogant or cocky like someone like that might be.
He was voted class clown, right?
I don't think there was another person in the race, to be honest. I mean, if you had to like say like, oh, who was second place? Nobody probably. I mean, he was a runaway hit on that one for sure. He was far and away.
So did you guys grow up together? Like, have you known him since you were little?
People think that when they find out that we only knew each other in high school, but we came like. Guys don't take time to nurture friendships. They just happen. And that was how it was. Like any kind of good relationship, it was just like it was instantly natural.
You clicked.
Oh yeah, we were friends.
Right.
I mean, you don't overthink it too much.
What would you say that he taught you that you'll remember him by?
To make sure that if something needs to be said, to say it.
Okay.
Don't hold back. Don't don't let it slide. Be yourself. Be true to who you are. You know, and if you have something that you want to do, you need to do it. With him, if he made up his mind about something, you couldn't convince him to do something, and you couldn't convince him not to do something.
Right.
If he was going to do it, it was going to be him, and that's something that that I could definitely see him like saying to me. You know, he actually wrote in my yearbook, Pat, don't be a bum. So, don't be a bum.
So you think he's looking down on you, telling you that?
Yes.
Don't be a bum.
Don't be a bum, Pat.
So you drove him to the airport, right? About a year ago when he was about to leave.
Yes, when he was about to leave. Actually, when he left for basic training, I drove with his mother to the recruiter's office, and he left from there for basic. But when he left for his deployment, I did drive him to the airport. He was able to come back over the summer. We had, what I like to call like our typical summers. I mean, he talked about the Yankees, I talked about the Mets. We listened to the fan, we went out, we ate pizza.
Was that the last time you saw him?
That was the last time I saw him. I mean, it was the last possible time. He left. He was deployed. It was on a Monday, and he left that week, and then he was gone.
When was the last time you talked to him?
Probably about couple weeks ago.
Okay.
We had like an inside joke that we were passing off on Facebook, and actually I was supposed to even play him this week in fantasy football, so I mean he's still in our league.
Okay. And you guys have a Facebook page too where people can leave like comments and condolences?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think people that have Gebrah as a friend, I think it's like the family and I have all been reading what people have wrote, and I think it's one of those things that, like I've said 100 times, I think we all have like this much strength.
Right.
And I think as all of us in a room together, we're like coming together and doing things like this and just being together, remember all those good times, and
that's what you need to do.
And it's what Gebrah would have wanted.
That's how you feel, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's what we've been using. So.
Patrick, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You.
We appreciate
Absolutely.
it. And we'll have links to all of those on our website, too, ctnow.com. Logan, over to you.
Patrick, Sarah, thanks. We appreciate it. Good to see the two of you. Kennedy cousin Michael Skakel is appealing his 2002 murder conviction yet again. This time, Skakel says attorney Mickey Sherman was incompetent. He